Imagine a world where Hitler's grand dream of a 1,000-year Reich wasn't just scribbled in a diary, but became a horrifying reality. It's 1952. Europe is draped in swastikas, the Atlantic is a Nazi pond, and the Soviets are licking their wounds beyond the Urals. The question is, can the Soviets stage the ultimate comeback? Picture this. Berlin isn't just the capital of Germany, it's the capital of the world. There's a Reich Mart on every corner, and the Luftwaffe delivers mail via jet-powered bombers. The United States, isolated and busy perfecting Elvis Presley's career, has reluctantly acknowledged the Reich's dominance. Meanwhile, Stalin, well, a slightly older, grayer Stalin, is holed up in Moscow, probably smoking a pipe and plotting revenge. You see, the Soviets were never ones to take a beating lying down. After their catastrophic loss in 1942, the Red Army had retreated east of the Ural Mountains, building a fortress so impenetrable it makes Mordor look like a playground. After their victory in Europe, the Nazis turned their attention to securing the vast resources of Asia. But let's not forget, Hitler and Stalin were never BFFs. Sure, they signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact in 1939, dividing Poland like it was a pizza. But the two dictators always had knives behind their backs. By 1952, the Nazis had consolidated their empire, but they knew the Soviets weren't done. And Stalin? Oh, he'd been busy. Think Siberian tank factories churning out armored beasts like it's a Soviet Oprah show. You get a tank, and you get a tank. Stalin's plan wasn't just about brute force. It was about timing. Hitler had overextended his empire from the beaches of France to the deserts of North Africa and even into the snowy tundras of Scandinavia. The Reich was spread thinner than a German schnitzel. The Soviets knew that winter. Russia's eternal ally was on their side. And Stalin had something else up his sleeve: guerrilla warfare. Behind Nazi lines, Soviet partisans were wreaking havoc, blowing up trains, ambushing supply lines, and probably stealing every bratwurst they could find. So, could the Soviets return? Let's set the stage. On one side, the Nazis have the most technologically advanced army the world has ever seen. Their jet fighters dominate the skies, their submarines prowl the oceans, and their propaganda machine churns out dystopian blockbusters. On the other side, the Soviets have sheer numbers, unyielding determination, and, let's face it, a knack for suffering. Plus, Stalin is betting big on atomic bombs. That's right. Imagine Soviet scientists scrambling to build their own version of the Manhattan Project, probably fueled by vodka and sheer spite. In this alternate 1952, a Soviet counteroffensive would likely begin with a massive push westward, targeting weak points in the Nazi supply lines. The Red Army would aim to retake Ukraine, the breadbasket of Europe, and cut off German access to oil fields in the Caucasus. But the Nazis wouldn't go down without a fight. Expect brutal battles in the frozen forests of Eastern Europe, with Tiger tanks facing off against Soviet IS-3s and jet-powered Messerschmitts dueling with Soviet MiGs in the skies. Now what about Uncle Sam? By 1952, the US has nuclear weapons, a booming economy, and a Cold War brewing with the Reich. If the Soviets staged a comeback, would America join in? Maybe, but only if it made for good television. And let's not forget the underground resistance movements. From the French resistance to secret cells in Poland and even disgruntled Germans tired of living under a totalitarian regime, the Soviets might find allies in unexpected places. So, could the Soviets return and topple the Nazi Empire in this alternate 1952? The short answer is, maybe. The long answer? It would depend on timing, strategy, and sheer luck. One thing's for sure, the world would never be the same. Imagine a Soviet victory leading to an alternate Cold War, this time between the Red Bear and a weakened, fractured Nazi Reich. Or maybe the Soviets would overreach, and the whole planet would descend into chaos. In any case, this what-if scenario reminds us how close history came to taking wildly different paths. And it leaves us with a chilling thought. Sometimes the darkest timelines are only a step away. History is full of twists, turns, and near misses. While this alternate 1952 is purely speculative, it serves as a reminder of the resilience of nations and the unpredictable nature of human conflict. Let's just be glad this story stayed in the realm of what if and not how it happened.